School. It's one of the few things almost everyone experiences. We spend more than a decade of our lives inside classrooms, learning, memorizing, testing, repeating. Yet ask almost anyone, and they'll tell you they hated school, or at least parts of it. But this isn't just a modern problem. People have disliked school for centuries, and the reason goes far beyond homework or boring teachers. 200 years ago, school looked very different, but the complaints were strangely similar. In the 1800s, schools were strict, cold, and ruled by fear. Teachers could whip students for speaking out of turn. Children sat silently for hours, reciting facts they barely understood. Education was more about obedience than curiosity. Many kids dreaded school because it wasn't a place of learning, it was a place of control. Back then, most families needed their children to help on farms or in factories. So when governments started forcing attendance, many parents resisted. They saw school as a cage, taking away their child's freedom to work, learn trades, or help at home. To them, education was a privilege for the rich, not a daily prison for the poor. As the Industrial Revolution took off, schools became designed to serve a new purpose: to train obedient workers. The system copied the factory model: bells ringing like shift changes, rows of desks like assembly lines, and lessons that rewarded quiet, repetitive behavior. The goal wasn't to create thinkers, it was to produce reliable workers. And this factory-style education still exists today. Fast forward to the modern world. The whips are gone, but the structure remains. Students are still told when to speak, when to move, what to think, and when to stop. Curiosity has been replaced by testing, creativity replaced by conformity, and instead of learning how to think, we're taught how to comply. That's why so many students feel trapped. We grow up being told that grades define our worth, that mistakes are failures, and that memorizing facts means intelligence. But deep down, we know life doesn't work that way. Real learning comes from curiosity, experimentation, and purpose, not fear of failure. Children naturally love learning. Watch a 5-year-old. They're full of questions, full of wonder, but something happens along the way. By high school, that same curiosity is gone, replaced by stress, anxiety, and exhaustion, because school turned learning into labor. The truth is, the school system was never designed to make people happy. It was designed to make people useful. But what happens when usefulness replaces fulfillment? You end up with generations of people who know how to follow orders, but not how to think for themselves. Many of history's greatest minds hated school too. Einstein said, "Education is what remains after one has forgotten what one has learned in school." Mark Twain joked, "I have never let my schooling interfere with my education." Even Steve Jobs and Elon Musk criticized the system for killing creativity. So maybe the problem isn't the students. Maybe it's the structure itself. But here's the thing. The problem isn't learning. Learning is what makes us human. It's school that gave learning a bad name. And as more people begin to question this system, a quiet revolution is starting. Homeschooling, online education, creative learning platforms. All signs that humanity is beginning to redefine what education really means. People have always disliked school because deep down, we know something's off. We were never meant to sit in silence, repeat facts, and suppress curiosity. We were meant to explore, to question, to fail, and to grow. And maybe the future of education isn't in classrooms at all, but in rediscovering the one thing school forgot to teach us: the joy of learning itself. Maybe people never really hated learning. Maybe what they hated was being told how to think, what to believe, and who to become. For centuries, school tried to shape everyone into the same pattern, but human beings were never meant to be identical. We were meant to explore, to create, to chase questions that don't have easy answers. The tragedy of school isn't just boredom, it's the way it convinces you to stop being curious about the world and about yourself. But the truth is, that spark never dies. It's still there, in every idea, every dream, every what if that refuses to go away. And when you start learning for yourself again, not for a grade, not for approval, that's when real education begins. School teaches you to follow the rules. Life teaches you when to rewrite them.